Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Just talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt, man!
All right, episode 3 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Tyler from Imprint Printing Co. down in Florida. Let's go!
Shirt show!
What's up, dude?
Hey.
What's up, gentlemen?
You're good. Hey, what's up?
Not much. How's your day going?
Sunday. Eating a pot pie in a minute, hopefully.
Yeah. I was honestly about to go eat food whenever Andy hit me up and he was like, it's at 4. And I was like, oh. He said, he saw my story. I said it was 4:30.
It's all right. You can eat on this.
Yeah, we're cool with that.
I'm at the shop. I have empanadas, dude. I went to this Colombian spot and they gave me like a bag of 20 empanadas. And I think it was an accident, but I walked out and I was like, oh shit. I was like already at the park, you know?
That's not a horrible accident to have.
Yeah, I just feel bad for them. So,
are you working today? Or are you just doing this here at the shop?
I was working a little bit today, like met up with some clients and stuff, trying to smooth over some speed bumps that we've hit. Like I just hired a new printer, Emmett, and he's a rock star, but we're still trying to learn how to communicate with like the graphic designer in Printavo. So we just had a few miscommunications with like misprints, and we just got to fix them. So just dealing with that stuff.
Yeah.
This the new printer, did he have experience or did you train him?
I actually have trained him, and he's actually pretty raw. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had AC dudes come the other day, and I got stuck at home all day, and he was just here knocking them out. It was pretty rad. So
That's awesome.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's always good when you find somebody who actually works out. You know what I mean?
However long it works out, you know? Like some people are in for a while and some people aren't in for a while, you know, and they kind of play their course. And sometimes it sucks when somebody goes, but it's like at the end of the day, we got to keep going.
Yeah.
You know? How long have you guys been in the business for?
Andy?
So I started Shirt Kong in 2009, but I had a shop previous to that.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for probably 20 years, I guess.
20 years?
20 years, yeah. I know I look super young.
He's
but,
900 years old.
The screen printing chemicals keep my youth.
Yeah. I posted... We were doing 1,000 shirts, and I posted a video that's like this weird trippy filter, and I was like, when the plastisol hits, like you just.
Well, you know that spot gun, the spray art remover. I mean, I'm always volunteering for that job.
Just huffing it.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the spray. I just use acetone personally.
That's what I use.
I
put that in your gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
20 years.
That works. Here you go. Just learned something.
Because I was like, I heard of like an acetone trick, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And that stuff's not really that expensive. And then I had the other option, and my friend was like, you can buy this stuff, and it said poison on it. And I was like, we're not buying that.
Does the acetone, does it leave a residue?
On the dry fits, it kind of does sometimes.
It seems to do it on like safety colors.
Yeah, I have noticed that. We had a misprint. We tried to just knock them out, and then we threw them through the oven, and we just saw this ring where we sprayed it.
Yeah.
But if you air dry them, it's actually a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, and what's really good is, so we have a vacuum, you know, we bought it's like a stand and has this Drawdown Vacuum. And so as you spray it out, it never really stays wet. So it's instant, you know, because once that chemical sits on there, I think that's what all of a sudden causes the dye it draws it out of the shirt. And it'll put a ring on like the outside edge of the garment. And so, if you have one of those vacuums, like an air hockey table almost, you know, it just sucks it out of there.
Or you could just not mess up shirts like we do.
Yeah,
that shit happens, dude. I'm trying to eliminate it, but it seems like there's always another thing, you know?
It's always something stupid. It's always like a pinhole in the corner of the screen or on the edge of the palette where you can't see it when you pull it off.
You're like, where did that come from? And like, you're like, you didn't see it like halfway through the run, and then like it just appears.
And then you have to blow out 100 shirts.
I'm not blowing out 100 shirts.
I've definitely done that, though.
I've done it.
I've blown out like about 60 shirts.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that I may have to blow out 100 shirts, possibly one day.
Yeah.
I think it. But
You'll be thinking of us when it happens.
Yeah. You
Be like,
definitely.
fuck those guys.
They fucking manifested this shit. You give me
tomorrow. You know that shit's happening tomorrow, right?
We do. We have a decent amount of shirts to print tomorrow, and we have a pretty busy week. We're pretty backed up until we get this auto going.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that. So you have an auto, but it's not working yet because it hasn't been installed.
It hasn't been installed, but I thought that because I'm like sort of mechanically inclined, like I can fix a car and stuff. But my friend was like, "Yeah, you should be able to handle it." So I checked it out, and I was just like, "Dude, I have no idea how to handle this at all. It's just a monster that I don't understand." So I think I need to get a dryer first and foremost. But
I think for us anyway, and I kind of talked to you about this when we were messaging, that we're mechanically inclined too. And in fact, we can change out a part or whatever, to get the test going. But on an install, to get it just everything set just right, I think it's super worth having a tech come out who does it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
sure.
just make it run right from the get go, and then as you go, whatever, you can change out parts and stuff. Dylan, same? You think the same?
Yeah, 100%. I think even if it's a couple grand to like pay the tech to come out for a couple days and like level everything and get everything perfect. Think about the amount of time you're going to save on registration. Like if your pallets aren't right or whatever, like you're like, oh, I don't want to pay that, $1,500, $2,000 or whatever to send somebody out. But it's the thing is like, you're going to spend X amount of hours every day, like trying to line things up, or like halfway through a job, registration comes out or something. And it's like we just had our new gauntlet put in, and then I paid to have the tech go through our Sportsman too. And like, he found a ton of stuff that like we didn't even know was wrong. Things just not being like lined up right, or, registration on the pallets and like all this other stuff. And it's like, he tweaked it all. Now it's like back to basically like brand new factory reset. So
yeah, I was talking to a tech the other day. He said it's like $650 to come out a day.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, he said he pays for his own expenses too, which I was like, yeah, let's just make this happen.
Yeah, and you're probably in a better spot, right? Like,
what do you mean?
I mean, as far as like, you probably have techs close by.
I'm in St. Pete, Florida. You know Alan Howe?
Yeah.
Well, he texted me when he saw like this YouTube video I did. And then he just like connected me with one of his friends. So I think he is out here.
Yeah.
I don't know where, dude, I'll be honest with you, man. It's like I started a print shop. I started printing a little, like about 4 years ago, just trying to do, I don't know what that sound was. Did you hear that?
No.
Probably Dylan's dog. That fucking thing's barking all the
Seriously.
time.
Well, like previously I just started it with like Vulgar, which is like my skateboarding brand. And I just started trying to make my own shirts because the dude that printed my shirts sucked. And I hated it, honestly, dude. I was like, didn't know how to do screens or anything, and it was just, but then one day I got an order for like 50 dry fits, and I was like, you're going to pay me to make shirts? Like, okay. And so I've like never worked in a print shop, and like, this is not my area of expertise, I just like business, but the whole like shirt printing aspect of it is just like, it's insane how far it can go.
So I'm the same as you. I've never worked in a print shop besides mine. I started in my garage just as a hobby, and sort of like you, somebody said, "Hey, I'll pay you to make some shirts," and I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So okay, and I did, and I actually messed most of them up.
Yeah.
Had to redo it, and then so the first job didn't go well. My first real job actually didn't go well, but
I mean, dude, I had black pinholes everywhere, all over them. Like, it was the first time I ever messed with plastisol ink, and I was just like, oh, it's a long run. Like, I guess I got to get plastisol ink. And next thing you know, it was like all over my fingers and stuff. And at this point, dude, I was using my oven in my kitchen to cure shirts, like literally sitting there folding them and putting them on cookie trays and just like folding them. And I'll have like black ink all over my hand when I take it off the platen. And I didn't know about a goof gun at that moment in time. So I was pretty much screwed because some of them were burnt. I was like curing them with my iron and shit. Dude, it was crazy.
Dylan, how did you start? Have you ever printed a shirt? Or do you just have your...
Have you ever printed a shirt? Yeah.
Your guys just print them for you? Or what?
Yeah, I just have all my guys do it for me. No, like,
That's
see, like,
that's what I'm trying to do.
that's the weird part of like the way I started is I've always been in the sales part of it. Like that's how I originally started was I was outsourcing printing to a company and then they hired me to go work there. And then I just did sales for them. But like, I feel like when you're working at the shop doing sales, you should also go out and like help do things and like learn everything you can about screen printing. So that's kind of been me this entire time is like, I'm not a normal printer, but I can go out and print stuff. Like I know how to do it. And I do stuff for myself or I do like stuff for Upstate, like on my own time, just as like a hobby thing. But for the most part, like, yeah, I'm not day-to-day printing at all. Like I'm in the office doing like managerial stuff, running the business, marketing, all that stuff. So
that's where I'm also getting at now.
Yeah, I'm also like the owner too. So like it's my responsibility to do nothing but like educate myself all the time as much as possible on like new things. And then when it comes to learning a new thing and showing the guys, like I kind of have to learn it first and then like talk to them about it. So I am not by definition a printer, but like I immerse myself in the shit all day, every day. So,
I mean, as long as you have a tribe and you figure out like what it is that you're good at, you know, you can allocate different portions of it. Like me, I'm good at the selling aspect, you know, and like I printed because it was a necessity because I was just selling, you know, I just kept selling. So I just had to learn how to do it because nobody else was doing it, you know? So right now Emmett's printing and he does all the printing and I just sit here, mess with like Zapier zaps for Printavo and just like mess with like email campaigns and just trying to like, we just did a pretty dope little ad the other day when we were printing shirts, just had some homies come over and film. We like cooked up steak, shrimp, just had all the homies here just getting it done. And
that's how you do it, dude.
Yeah, it's just fun, bro. Like, it's like, do we go out and, you know, put something up in the air? And if we have to get our creative juices flowing, like, yeah, dude, we just have a good time here. It's just like a chill place.
Yeah.
You know? So I never would want to be like a boss, you know? Like I want to be like a leader. So
yeah, no, it makes sense.
I got this email the other day. It's titled Krulak's Law or Krulak's Law, not sure which. And it says the experience people have with your brand is in the hands of the person you pay the least. And so it says act accordingly. This involves training, trust, responsibility, leadership, dignity, authority, management, and investment. It mostly means seeing the frontline people in your organization are priceless assets, not cheap cogs. So I think that means a lot to, it made me think because, you know, the customer service or the salesperson, because you said that it's important that you know how to print, like Dylan said, you know, like those people that come in our front counter or the people that call here or the people that email and we communicate with every single day, man, that is your front line, you know, and so it's super important to, I think, know how to print. And so that's why everybody here. So if they're a designer, if they're a customer service, no matter what, you're going to spend some time on press or at the dryer or something, just so you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just so that everybody's kind of on the same page.
Yeah. I definitely heard of shops though that do that where like their first month of training is like going through every aspect of the shop. Like,
just
you know,
like
your like,
stuff.
yeah, like your first day or two in the shop is like cleaning screens. And then like the next thing you're doing is like pulling shirts off. And then the next thing you're doing is maybe helping the guy in the manual.
I think that's awesome. I mean, because then you have an appreciation for other people.
Then you know like what goes into it. You know, you can actually say like, oh yeah, like this ink will work good on this shirt. Because if you just were selling nothing, you'd be like, oh yeah, we can do this all day long. But the truth of it is,
it's not gonna, you can't do that.
It's not going to print like that or, you know, whatever. So I've never done that, but I mean, it sounds good to do that. I mean, I try to, like I said, educate everybody on it, but usually everybody in the shop ends up getting education from mess ups.
Yeah.
If something gets fucked up, then we kind of go back through and I'm like, well, how did this happen? Why is this? And then they obviously learn from those mistakes, but
for sure. That's a great way. I mean, failing is like the greatest teacher of all time, you know?
Yeah. Well, it sticks.
That's why it's like whenever you said you just like, you never had a job where you sold where you couldn't get it done, you know? It's like, I remember one time I sold like windbreakers and they had like a double shell and I had no idea I needed like a jacket hold down. And I was like, yo, dude, can I print these at your shop? To my friend PJ, who like taught me how to print and like I would outsource orders to. Now I'm like still outsourcing orders to him, but it's like, yo, here's a job, you know? And he's just like, what are you going to do with those? And dude, I just went to Home Depot, got some foam and like 2x4s and just fucking fitted on the plat and just got it, just did it, you know?
And they came out all right?
They came out straight, dude. There was probably like 5 of them out of 50 that, you know, like looked a little fucked up, but they came out straight.
That's awesome.
You know? I got like the Nyla bond and everything for it.
Yep.
That's sweet.
That.
Yeah, we did windbreakers like a long time ago, tried them out and did everything, like did the research, and then we just made up our minds after that. We're like, we're not doing these ever again.
Yeah, I haven't touched the windbreakers.
No, I even bought the hold down. I don't think it's ever been used. Like it's literally just sitting on a shelf.
I just printed camos and they were bad. Said they were cotton. They're not fucking, I mean, something in there ain't fucking cotton.
No, dude, anything with camo on it is going to bleed. You just got to be preventative regardless.
Yeah.
I saw Squeegee Print hit Juan's post the other day, and he printed over a pocket. I've tried so many times and so many things. Like I got the neoprene foam and everything. Mm-hmm. And have you ever printed on a pocket, like over top the pocket?
Over the whole pocket?
Yeah. So so you print the shirt, and then it also goes on the front, like the left pocket. You know, prints over it.
Does it not mess it up?
No, it looked great. I don't know. We got to call him, ask him how he did it.
How would you do that? Would you just heat press it down afterwards?
No, it looked.
You're saying that like the front print went over the pocket as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you probably used a foam.
You can hire somebody to figure that out.
Yeah, I have some links. There's like a foam you can buy that you can put on. It's kind of like the mat from a heat press, but thinner.
Yeah, like a neoprene.
Yeah, and you just put it on all the pallets, like spray tack it down on all the pallets, and then that's how you do like hoodies with zippers.
With zippers, right? Yeah, we finally figured that out.
Yeah.
Thanks,
that's guys. How we do it anyway.
But I'm in Florida, dude. I'm not really doing that many hoodies. Even like during the winter, you know, I didn't really get that many. It doesn't get too cold out here.
That's not a terrible thing.
Sometimes, dude, it's so hot outside right now.
Yeah, it's like 58 degrees here.
What? I don't even know the temperature outside. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
We got 80s here in St. Louis.
It's probably 80s, 90s. Nah, it's probably 90s here. It's super hot, dude.
Dylan's always cold, though. Sweet. He's got his like furry slippers on and stuff, too, I'm sure.
Dude, I have awesome Sasquatch sandals. Like, not sandals, but like...
Let's see.
I'll have to,
put your money where your mouth is, dude.
All right, well, fuck. You guys keep going.
Did you do that behind you, that painting?
No, I didn't, but I'll show you these boards that I actually pressed myself and screen printed. You want to see them?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, 1 second.
Yeah.
So I used to, I started that screen printing or the skateboarding company, and I bought a skateboarding mold with like a hydraulic press and everything. So I literally like glued all of these together and pressed them in a hydraulic mold and like sanded them out, routed them, and like screen printed them, dude. You know?
Wow.
Yeah,
they're not flat. So how do you print them?
So basically, I just got a really big like screen, you know, or you got a pop screen actually, and you have to like hold the squeegee right. It's weird. I think I did it the wrong way. I think there's other ways to do it, especially if you want to go like around the curve and stuff. There's this dude named Caspit out in Texas that's just like, he's a G at it. You know him?
Well, not personally, but I know I've seen videos for sure.
Everybody knows who he is. Yeah.
He told me how to print them too. He was like mad, like, dude, come skate the bowl whenever you get out here. He was cool as hell.
Yeah. There's a video I'll try to find and send you of a shop that just does nothing but skate decks. It's actually like a skate company, but they make the frames. So they like make the wood, it like kind of goes straight and then it goes down a little bit and curves and then it comes back around. And that's all they do is print decks.
You can do that too. I just wanted to know how to burn a screen like that, you know?
Yeah.
Catspit was like rehabbing a Camaro, and it was the exact Camaro. Like my very first car was a Camaro, a 77 Camaro.
Yeah.
305.
Back in 77.
It was, yeah. It was 1977 too, you know, brand new off the lot. No, but he was rehabbing a Camaro, and I was like, oh my God. So we messaged back and forth a little bit about it. What was your first car, dude?
My first car?
Yeah.
Fucking Mercury Mistake.
Mercury Mistake?
Yeah, it's called a Mystique, but it was a fucking mistake, dude. Like, that thing caught on fire, bro. Like, I was smoking cigarettes and stuff at the time and Black and Miles and stuff, and I think I went to go do some graffiti at the time. just doing shit that I wasn't supposed to do. And I came back, dude, my car was just fucking on fire. And I was like in an apartment complex, and like I had spray paint in there. So I reached in and tried to grab it, and then the doors open. So it caught like 2 other cars on fire. It's like 4 a.m. It was I was glad to get rid of that car. You know,
you didn't have to get rid of it. It was on fire.
Yeah. Dude, it was, and so like, I called 911. I was like, guys, I need your help. They're like, where are you? I'm like, I don't know. It was just it was a mess, dude.
Look for the giant car fire.
Yeah, they found us. I actually got $500 from insurance because of it. Like, didn't have to pay anybody or anything. It was kind of cool.
So you made out like those. Yeah.
You got those slippers, Dylan?
Yeah, let's see those slippers. Those are sick.
My God.
Dude,
they're my Bigfoot slippers.
You should do an engagement ad with them. Just like we make your shirt experience comfortable.
Yeah.
How comfortable? Ask Dylan.
This is my hair. I just glued it on.
I don't even know where that. I don't want to know where that hair came from.
It's very straight.
Do you guys ever watch Jackass?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that episode when they put the pews on the dude's face and then they like made him act like he was a terrorist? You remember that?
I don't think that shit would fly nowadays.
No, dude, you would get shot by somebody, dude. You know, just some like I feel like with the whole like presidential thing, it's like so overstimulating. Like the marketing of it, it's just like, fuck, man, I'm just gonna shut this shit off. Yeah, something would happen.
I think all the guys, not all the guys, but a bunch of the guys from there fell on hard times. Maybe except for Johnny, or I don't know what he's doing now, but man,
small acting roles here and there.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, how far are you gonna get ahead with like your little terrorist role where you like got your ass beat and pews on your face? They kind of fucked those dudes over. You know?
Dude,
they inspired a generation though. Watching this stuff on YouTube and these nuts.
I'm friends with those dudes on MTV that do. Well, I'm friends with Chadwick, the Too Stupid to Die dudes. They just do dumb shit. You know, just like he was like wanting to use my skateboard and jump on it barefoot with thumbtacks off of it, like a hippie jump. And I'm like, I'll let you. You know, that's crazy.
So I first time I don't know if we actually formally met, but we were at ThreadX, and they threw you that cube, microphone or whatever.
Yeah.
And you asked about funnel marketing or something like that.
Yeah, he was like,
wasn't it? What were you talking about?
Just like creating a sales funnel of like, I just like sales funnels, and I just like psychology of marketing. You know what I mean? Like I want this to become like an automated selling machine. So I want ads to just drop. So basically, like, I want to create like an internal trigger, and I want that internal trigger to be like people being successful, because I'm all about like the positive affirmations, and I could promote that to people that want to grow their own businesses and want to grow up their own brands, So I just want them to be triggered by that. And when they think about success, I want them to think about me and shirts and their brand, and just growing. So different things that go into like a funnel. So basically, that emotional trigger, I want them to hook in, and I want them to like go to my Instagram and then like have ads that are targeting them for this, and then they visit my website, and then I can retarget them and segment them on an ad that's like based on like if they're going to the Anvil section of my catalog, and just hit them with the Anvil deal, I just want to stay top of mind with them,
So how would that ad reach them? You're saying that ad would come as a sponsored.
It would be a sponsored ad through a Facebook pixel.
Okay.
Like,
and it would come to them on Instagram or Facebook or email or what?
It really depends on what platform you have, like, it targeted them. You can target it to, like, let's say you have an ad that might perform better on, like, a story, or if you have an ad that might perform better on Facebook than it would on Instagram. You can choose all of those.
I got you.
But auto placements are the way to go, so that you can really start seeing, like, people are clicking onto your stuff, Do you guys have Facebook Pixel?
No.
I think I do, but I don't know how to use it.
Well, you just like it's free to install. So you just install that and then put it on your page. Once you put it on your website, you can have your whole website. When you're boosting ads, don't do it through like the boost post thing. You want to do it through like the actual, like go to the Facebook Business Manager and go through there, and you can create custom audiences and stuff like that. You know, it's actually pretty fucked up. You know, but if it's there, I'm gonna use it. You know.
Yeah, like it always happens to me. I think even when I'm talking about something, like if I say, "Oh, I really love Ice Mountain water," all of a sudden it's in my feed on Instagram. Like 5 minutes later,
it's not even that it heard you. It's like literally something that's an algorithm that has been learning your pattern. Like, how long have you had social media for?
You mean as a company?
No, you as a person.
I guess I signed into Facebook probably in 2008. That was my first.
2008, so 12 years, dude. It's been collecting data on you and it's creating an algorithm of who it thinks you are.
It knows what you want before you even want it, Andy.
Exactly. So it's not listening to you, bro. It just knows you.
Yeah, that is fucked up.
It is, but dude, you opted in for it.
I sure did.
You know, just for the social experiment. I mean, Facebook and all that stuff plays on your like your internal. It's called a what is it called? Well, it's an instinct, an irrational instinct is what it's called. So we want to help people as humans. We want to help people. We want to reach as many people with our messages as we can. So Facebook allows us to do that at a very scalable level. You know, so that's why we're so like into it. Like iPhone, you got like, do you guys have iPhones?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That really plays upon like our mating stuff, because it's like a peacock, you know, like we're going to be, oh, I have an Apple phone. Like that dude must be a little bit more stable. You know, it just plays upon these like weird emotions and stuff.
That's when I get in my car, it says, it's 5 minutes to Panera, or you're 10 minutes from home, depending on what time it is. Or I get in my car, it knows what I'm doing, for sure.
What the fuck kind of car do you drive? I got a Harley, so it don't say
my
that
phone.
to me.
My phone tells me that, not my
What?
car. Yeah, my phone says it. But I'll have.
What kind of surveys are you taking?
Your iPhone doesn't tell you that you're 10 minutes from home?
Dude, I turned off all my notifications, dude. I'm trying to focus. Do I get sucked into Instagram sometimes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with what's going on in the world right now. Shit's fucked.
I feel like...
how involved are you in all that stuff?
Honestly, dude, I'm minding my own business. I mean, like, I've tried to talk to some, like, mayors and stuff like that, and deputy mayors in our city. I talked to Charlie Chris the other day, but they're just, like, professional smoke blowers, you know? So I think my best plan of action is to just, like, really just focus on my business and building my wealth, and then maybe I can get, like, involved politically later on in life, you know?
Yeah.
When I actually have wealth to actually make stuff move.
Right.
So I want to get in, like, to houses and stuff like that and just really start getting into real estate. Really, Imprint is just like a startup for me, you know? Just like showing me what is capable and what is out there, you know? Because like I've been flipping websites, dude. Not gonna lie, like the whole COVID thing, I sold 2 websites. I sold one website for $5,000 and I sold another website for 6.2. And like that was more income than any of the bigger screen printing jobs I got, you know?
What were the websites?
One of the websites was the foodielabs.com, and then the other one was Thorpe Chiropractor, which we're working on right now. We're just working on putting data in there and stuff. But you just tell people like, yo, dude, we'll install a pixel on your site so you can retarget your ads. And like the older generation is just like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? Mm-hmm. Like, what is a pixel, you know? And that's what really helped us through the whole COVID thing, honestly. Just helping people with marketing.
Side hustle.
From home and everything.
Side hustle fueling the main hustle.
Right.
You
so
know?
what's your end game, I guess, with that? Are you going to try to just like grow this company to sell it and do something else, or?
I think what I really want to do is just figure out a way to automate it. And like that may be a little bit more, like a lot harder than I think it is. But really what I want to do is turn Imprint into like a digital and physical marketing hub. So like people can, like we have embroidery machines and stuff, and we have like, if it's such a big job for something we can't do, like let's say we need a truck wrapped or something, we can outsource to one of the people that outsources jobs to us for shirts, you know? But like, I just want it to be a digital, physical marketing hub so I can help people build brands, help them market it, like get in front of the right people, like help them create a story and just kind of consult them too. I like shirts, you know, but I feel like the whole building of a brand is actually pretty rad.
Yeah.
You know, and if I can get people in like the websites I made, dude, I outsourced it, and my friend's girlfriend in Colorado, I paid her like $1,000 to do the first one, $1,500 to do the next. Like, and she handled the whole thing.
It seems like with your model that, have you looked into doing much digital printing as far as like for shirts and stuff? Because you're saying you want to get people to come to your site, have everything be automated. Are you looking for like the small piece stuff where somebody might be like, I want 5 of this, and then you can mark it up and digitally do it, or you want to do everything screen printing?
I want to do everything screen printed. I mean, I did just bump it up to like a 24 shirt minimum, but if it's a really small job, like I'm not really trying to run it. You know, I understand people are like, are just getting started out and they're worried and stuff, but I want to I try to let them know as like somebody that started a business from the ground up also that like whenever I spent money, it always came back. You know, and you always have to like circulate that. So like, there's like just ways to talk people into getting more shirts. I don't want to be the digital shirt dude that's just like, oh, you want 1 or 2 shirts. Like they already got that downtown, and like those dudes had to shut down during COVID, you know?
Yeah. I've just found like from my own experience of like doing marketing and Facebook stuff like that, and that's kind of why I stopped doing it. I dove into it a little bit to get, you know, my knowledge on it from what I could. And then I feel like most of the jobs I got from that were people that were hunting for like, what's your minimums? Or like, I need 5 shirts for this thing or whatever. And it's like,
for sure.
So that's why I didn't know if like, you seem like you want to dive harder into that aspect. I didn't know if the digital thing made more sense for you. Cause for me, it's more, I want to dive into dealing with customers in my specific niche that know me from the work I've done. And then, you know, they tend to order, you know, higher quantities. So
see, I'm still trying to figure out where my niche is, you know, like there's vegan restaurants where I do a lot of their stuff. I might dive into that niche, you know, and then like, I don't know, I have such a broad span of people that I make shirts for. I mean, I guess I'm just becoming like the local business dude.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like a lot of it just is what you're into. Like you should find a niche that's something that you're actually into yourself.
For sure. I tried to do the skateboarding thing, but they're broke. You know?
Yeah. Well, we did the same thing. We were all band guys, and then we did nothing but bands, and then we found out they have no money. So then we started looking for other things that we were into. Like I said, well, a lot of us are into like comics, or, you know, some of us are into motorcycle stuff. And so we ended up diving into those niches, and we do a ton of work for those guys. So
how would you dive into those niches? Just like going to events and stuff?
He slides into their DMs.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, it is that. It's just like making connections with people that actually makes sense. You're not like trying to salesman people. You know what I mean? It's like me, say for motorcycles, for instance, like I like motorcycle stuff anyway, because I ride motorcycles and whatever. So my own Instagram I follow people like that because I like that stuff. Like it has nothing to do with business, has nothing to do with anything. I just like the stuff. And then it turns into one of those people ends up needing a service that you offer.
Yeah.
So then you end up, you know, contacting them and sliding into their DMs. And then you end up talking to them about like, how can you help them? And then
flirt with them a little.
Right. But then it's the thing is like, you're not trying to be salesy. You're just like legit, like, hey, I love what you do. And I can offer a service to you that I know I can help you out with and crush.
For sure.
So
I like sales, but I don't like the whole like repetitive salesperson kind of thing. You know, like I actually genuinely want to help people.
Right. I feel like you get way more stuff out of it if you genuinely love what you're doing, and then they end up telling way more people because of how you help them and the great job you did. And then it's a spiral after that. It's like,
for sure,
you just get like, a ton of stuff in that niche.
When you first started, like with the business, it's like you're just paddling on a wave for so long. And I feel like I'm starting to get to the point where I'm standing up a little bit and like got wobbly knees, you know, and I'm like, please.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand what you're saying about the niches. I've never really, like, I like motorcycles and I do like vegan food too. But like, I do a lot of restaurants and breweries, and I don't drink beer at all, you know?
Yeah.
I don't drink alcohol at all. So maybe that's not like the right niche for me to be in.
Well, some of those go hand in hand though too. It's like I said, we could do motorcycles, but a lot of those motorcycle guys like riding to breweries or like doing this, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's how you end up in those other niches that you might not be like perfect for you. It's like, say the brewery thing, like a motorcycle guy might be really good friends with the owner of a brewery, and then you do stuff for that brewery guy, and then he tells 10 other breweries, and then it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like now I'm doing a ton of brewery stuff. So you just never know where it's going to go. But like I said, I would just focus on things that you know what I mean? Like if you really love vegan food, like you could easily walk into a vegan restaurant and start talking to them about like veganism.
Yeah.
Or even design a shirt.
Right.
You know, and walk in with it. Yeah, because Dylan, you've done that before too. You know, just do a one-off or whatever, or even a dozen shirts and say, hey, I love your place, and you know, here's a dozen shirts. And
yeah, they'll be like, sweat equity's huge.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some giant accounts that we run merch for restaurants, you know, like the barbecue place keeps us busy.
You just did some of those, right?
For us, we did,
for the barbecue place?
Yeah, we have we do a couple of barbecue restaurants around here, a couple of their merch programs.
See, the problem I have with that is that I would just want to trade them.
Yeah.
I feel that. That's real.
Hey, that still works.
Like bring like fully cater for like a week, and like I'll print you some shirts.
He said something about trading a dunk tape. Andy said something about trading a dunk tape for like pizza, and I was about to call out and just order it. I was like, dude, I'll call ahead.
You know what we got for that? We got White Castle.
How many?
Do you have White Castle there?
We have crystals.
200 packs. No, just 60, I guess. And I knew my limit. I just have one, because after that, it's danger zone. Somebody I think had 7. You know, like that's over.
They're just in the bathroom the whole shift. It's like you were not productive today.
The White Castle ones are the tiny ones, right?
Yeah. We have crystals.
How can you only have one?
Come on, man! Like, because it was one. Those are killer. They have. I hadn't had one in like 10 years, so
they're so not good for you.
No deal. Next time, no.
Live your lives, guys.
Dude, I live my life. I eat food all the time. Like, we did a 1,000-shirt job, and I just like went out to this place just to like soak in it, because that was the biggest job that I've ever had, and I spent like $30 on skirt tape just because I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. And then like we went and bought groceries just like the night before for like a third of what we just spent that night. I was like, whatever, who cares?
That's
so
awesome.
I mean, I don't do that very often. I'm actually pretty frugal. You guys do that profit first stuff?
Yes and no. I read it and I liked a lot of what he was saying. And basically, I went the route of, and I kind of already did this a little bit, but it made me want to pursue it more, is basically don't like float money around and then eventually like order shirts and like whatever, like chemical and whatever else you need. Basically what I do is at the end of every day, every order that came in that day, say it's like 15, 20 orders came in and paid that day, at like 3-4 o'clock, I order all those orders, like everything that's needed for those. And if I need to order inks or whatever, I order everything. So basically at the end of that day, I already have all of the, materials that I need. So whatever money I have left is generally like the profit or like the payroll. So to me, just like double downing on that and like making sure that I do that every day. Cause you feel like in all honesty, like I feel like if you don't do that and you wait like a week and then you're like, I'll order this stuff later, I'll order this then, like you end up getting in a hole because you might come across a piece of equipment or something you want to buy. And you're like, oh, I can buy that. And then you find out, shit, I spent too much. And now I don't have enough to buy, pay for the materials for an order. So it's like.
Yeah. I do have a problem with that, like ordering stuff the same day.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of procrastinate on that.
I feel like once you do that, it's a huge weight off your shoulders, just knowing that everything's covered. Like you're not going to screw yourself later.
You mean, so you order your shirts and you're saying you pay for that immediately? Like when you order the shirt?
I don't ever do terms. I don't ever do terms.
I don't do terms either. I just, I pay with
my card right then and there, and it's done and over with.
I just get it over with.
Well, there's a fee to that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. For sure.
There is a fee.
Yeah, they
unless
reprice it.
There is a fee unless you talk them out of that fee.
What fee are you talking about?
There's a credit card fee.
So let's say you put a dozen shirts in your cart.
Oh, 3%?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm always price matching them.
Dude, I have that
I get them down so low anyway.
I don't have that fee.
How do you get away?
Get out of here with that.
You can definitely get them waived.
Because I give like each of them like $1 million in business. They're like, we'll waive the fee.
That's fucking awesome, dude. I want to do $1 million in sales so bad.
They did, yeah. I don't pay shipping. I don't pay the fee. I mean, I get a really good rate on apparel, but yeah, they ended up just waiving the fee for me. So, because that was the thing, is they were like, you want to do terms? You want to do terms? The only time I ever consider doing terms is if I get like a big company, like a school or somebody who has to do terms, like has to do like 30 days or whatever. And they're like, this order's like $20,000 that I don't want to float. Then I'll ask for terms, but it's always like, I'll get a term sheet for that order specifically. I won't have like generalized terms. I'll just be like, hey, this is an order I need. They'll be like, okay, you have 45 days or whatever. And then, I'll get paid on the 30th day, and then I have 15 extra days. But
you buy some SNS or Broder or who?
Broder, SNS, TSC, and Sanmar are like my top 4. But like Broder and SNS are like my definite go-tos. And I've been using a lot more SNS lately.
I've been using SNS because Alpha's been kind of pissing me off. Like their Orlando store's still closed and like everything else is opening up. And
yeah.
I price matched them with SNS one time, and then they like on a pretty decent sized order, and then they just said they couldn't approve the price matching, and I was like, what? You do it every time.
Yeah. I used Broder for years. It used to be Bodick and Rhodes was like my favorite, and then they got bought out. And then I used Broder for 98% of my orders for years.
Yeah.
And then SNS came along, and they told me basically the reason why I switched to SNS mostly is because we use a ton of independent trading for hoodies and stuff.
Yeah.
And they carry it. And they were willing to price match like me ordering stuff from independent. So
did they put you on a like an incentive freight advantage program?
Yeah, I don't pay any freight on any independent. That was the thing.
And do you get a rebate in February for your year? Well,
I've only been using independent or SNS like mostly for almost a year now. So,
dude, you guys are on such a different level. It's sick.
Call your rep from SNS. If SNS is your favorite, and you work well with, then ask your rep and say, hey, I want to get on an incentive program. And so, they say, okay, well, if you do, it looks like you did this X amount of sales last year, and here's your program to do X amount this year. And if you meet that number, then February you get a rebate, and you negotiate that rebate. And then also that freight advantage is pretty sick because, every shirt that hits your dock, every box that hits your dock, totals up for another percent. For it, like goes in this little kitty that you can use if let's say you mess a shirt up or whatever. You have this amount or this little, when you go to buy that shirt to replace it, well, you just use the freight advantage.
Like that credit?
Yeah, it just starts to add up and accumulate. And so
it's called an incentive program?
But those are two different things. So the incentive program is just a program you can get in without the freight advantage part. And so the incentive program is just sort of a deal you work out, because then that way SNS says, okay, well, we're going to try to incentivize you to buy only from us or mostly from us. We're going to be your exclusive, or not your exclusive, but your main supplier.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's sort of like your credit card rewards. You have that favorite credit card that you use that you get rewards back at the end of the month or whatever. They incentivize you to use that card because your rewards are better than others. And so SNS, same thing. They give you this rebate at the end, or in February.
Yeah. I've actually never had a credit card,
dude. I'm against credit cards too. I do have a credit card, and I only use it for travel. But I was against it for a really long time. But that's another thing on top. So Andy, you're using terms for all your orders, and you're just paying like a bill at the end of the month. We have terms with SNS, and I just log in every week
I'll log in for a moment and I'll
pay the bill.
click on you click on the invoices. So I'll click off of a week's worth of invoices, and it's linked. I have a link to our checking account, and I just pay it.
Right.
And
so that's
there's
like
zero.
So that's like with me in my card that I use to pay for everything. I signed up for cash back on that card. So at the end of every month, I get 1.5 cash back on everything I use that card for. So if I'm ordering all the shirts and everything, like I'm getting like $1,000 back every month.
What?
For just my 1%. For using that card on all my shirts. So I can just take that $1,000 and use it for whatever I want because it's just my like reward.
You're like your reward card. For that's for a credit card?
Yeah. Well,
is that how you got those slippers?
Yes. These were $1,000 slippers.
Each.
Yeah. They're actual, it's just a Bigfoot's foot cut off and hollowed out for me to fucking enjoy as I walk around my house eating cookies.
Oh, dude. The most best metal shit I've ever heard.
I wonder if the incentive program that adds up to being. I wonder which is better.
Well, I'm gonna call them on Monday and be like, dude, what the fuck is this incentive program?
You always have that one rep at Alpha Brother that's like, yeah, I'm more than glad to help you, and you're like fucking pissed, and they're like, yeah, I understand. like they're so nice.
I mean, I have zero complaints between Broder and SNS. I mean, they each have their own. The one thing that screws me with SNS a lot is if you order shirts, like say you're going through and ordering and you're like, okay, I need green. And you put in all the sizes that you need for green. And then you hit like add to cart. And then you're like, shit, I need to add more green. It always defaults back to white. So like all the fucking time, Chris will come in, who counts all the stuff in. He's like, dude, why'd you just order like 150 white shirts? And I'm like, fuck.
I've always had like those moments where I was like, what are these shirts? You know, like you have like all the 50 shirts or something. You're like, I was like, why do I have 50 next level 3600 warm grays? I'm like, oh well. Like
I do it all
I'll
the
do something
time
with them.
Or like I'll accidentally go to put 5 in for like extra larges, and I accidentally put 50 or like 55, and then I'll end up with like 50 extra shirts.
I mean, then you can just use those for promo.
I just send them back.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
I send them back sometimes. I'm still figuring out the whole like UPS coming to pick up from a warehouse because like we're about 3 months into having the HQ, and I was like running my shop out of a like 10 by 20 canopy tent in my backyard.
Seriously?
Dude, a storm, fucking rainy ass Florida. Dude, my tent got taken away like 2 times from a storm.
Your shop was in a tent.
So he can pull that off though, he's in Florida.
A canopy tent in the backyard, dude. It was amazing.
That's crazy.
Until like the storms came. I lost like a gallon of ink. I was like getting my motorcycle endorsement, and I came back from the class, and the Uber driver dropped me off, and I like just looked, and my shop was like just in shambles, dude. I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
We've been through it, dude. I dropped one of my presses too. Moving to the warehouse. That sucked.
Dropped it off of a truck, you mean?
Yeah, well, like we were it was in a trailer. It was like the end of the day, last few items, and like I guess we didn't strap it down. And my friend was like, dude, that thing's bouncing. And I was like, nah, whatever, it's fine. And we looked back, and it was just in the middle. We were in the south side, which is like the hood. So it was just like this huge press. We had an Antec. It fell in the middle of the hood, and we're just like shirts off, like trying to
in the road,
it.
You mean?
Dude, it was in the road. Like we're lucky it didn't fall on somebody's car, dude. It was crazy. Yeah, it was just trouble.
That's awesome. Those are the good things, though. Those are the stories that you can always, like, pretty much my whole life. Like, that's what, like, I always tell my friends and stuff. Is like when we do shitty things and you end up finding out the hard way that sucked, but you have that story forever.
Dude, it was amazing. The
story is worth it.
We look like scrappers. Like we just found gold, you know? Like, we're about to go make so much money off this big metal contraption. I have no idea what it is.
So you have an auto, but you need to, get just it all fixed up.
Yeah. I actually got it from my friends. They just had it at their shop, and they gave it to me with like an air compressor for like $3,000, dude. They've been helping me out a lot, dude.
That's awesome.
Like, I've outsourced some jobs to them, and sometimes I'll go buy ink, and I swear they don't even charge me for it. They're just rad dudes, you know?
That's awesome.
Just over there.
It's always good to find people that are willing to like help you out like that.
Yeah, they've given like I'll like help them out, and like I'll middleman some of their presses and stuff like that, you know, and like I'll help them sell equipment if they need to, you know, and it's a good friendship.
Are there any like roadblocks or anything you're running into now that like maybe we can hash out and figure out for you?
Do you guys use Printavo? Fuck.
You're not.
Can't help you with that one. Try another one.
What do you guys use?
For like shop management?
Yeah.
We just use Google for everything. Honestly.
Google's?
Yeah.
Really? Like Google Calendar and everything?
Yeah, Google Calendar and then the Drive for all our artwork. And then...
you use Zapier?
No.
You guys should get on Zapier.
So we just use FreshBooks for all our invoicing. So we'll go through, make the invoice, and then we'll, download it. And then the thing is too, is I won't send invoices from FreshBooks. I'll download the PDF and then I'll send it through Gmail. The reason why I just like Gmail is because like everything, every conversation, everything with that customer is all saved in that same email chain.
Yeah.
So that's why like I keep the invoices in there. I keep the mockups in there. I keep everything in there so that if I ever have to go back and be like, well, this customer said this, I can go back and look for the whole thing.
It's always archived, you're saying, in the cloud.
It's always archived. It's like it never goes away. So like I'll even have folders in my Gmail of like, paid orders, whatever, so that I can go back for like the entire existence of our business and find that whole email chain of like exactly what was said. I get people all the time that text me, like try to like text me an order, or they send it on Facebook or whatever. And I'm like, email it to me and I make them email it to me. Like there'll be friends or whatever that I've dealt with forever that are just like, can I just do it over the phone? And I'm like, no, email it to me because I want a hard copy of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to refer back to this. They might be like, hey, is there any way you can like add 2 more small red shirts to this order, like on the phone? And I'm like, email that to me because I want to have that in this order so that if anything gets messed up or I didn't order those 2 shirts or whatever, I can refer back to that and say, this is where I screwed up, or this is where you said this. We get people all the time that will say, they approve a mock-up, but they're like, oh, but I want to do this, or could you make sure you make it vintage looking or something? And it's like, if I didn't have that record in there to go back and change it, then,
I had one homie in Denver that needed tags, and he said something slight about it in the email. But then, like, I sent him mock-ups. There was no tags on it. He was like, those look great.
And they approve it. Exactly.
Dude, I sent him literally paid me a couple $100 just to do video of the whole production, send those to him in a Google Drive. And then he just like, I sent him like pictures of it after they were done and like posted them on my Instagram and stuff. And he's like, dude, those are amazing. Then when he got them, he's like, dude, there's no tags. I'm just like, there's always some kind of miscommunication.
What was your solution? How'd you fix that?
He was like, actually, I kind of just like them like this. I was like, what we could do is we could order some plastisol transfers, or you can just order some, sew in tags and just do them yourself if you really want to stand out, But you didn't give me any artwork for the tags. The shirts were here, But like, if I need to ship them back, like, let's just do it. We'll reprint them,
Yeah, that's one thing.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dylan.
I was going to say that's one thing that like we implemented a couple of years ago now, I think, is like a super detailed mock-up form. Like we used to always just do like a mock-up of like, here's the artwork, here's the picture of the shirt. Like, do you approve this look? But now we have a mock-up form that's like, here's the actual mock-up shirt. And then here's like, this is exactly what Pantones we're using. This is exactly like inches down and wherever the placement is. And this is, like every detail you can have about the shirt that we're about to make on this mock-up form. And then they have to approve it in order for our art department to even touch it. Like it won't even go to the art department until that mock-up form is approved.
What do you mean won't go to the art department? You mean
so like
step it out, or you mean to go to?
Yeah, to go to like steps or anything.
How do you guys do your steps? You just have graphic designers?
I just have a guy that does it in the shop. That's all he does all day long is artwork steps.
Yeah, I got a graphic designer that does it, he never worked in shop. He just does it remotely. Like he'll stop by sometimes, but he does like my ads and stuff like that. And I'm just trying to figure out how to communicate with him better.
Yeah. So each one of my sales people, they do the mock-up forms. Like the art department doesn't do mock-ups or anything like that.
Okay.
So like the sales guy will, put the artwork on the mock-up, pick all the Pantone colors, do everything. And then once they get it approved, it just goes in, on Google Calendar or whatever that job is ready to go, and then the art department just does the steps and sends it out to the CTS to be done.
So your sales, they've got to be designers then.
Basically. Not really. They just know how to use Photoshop enough to make mock-ups.
I got a friend that like brings in a yardstick and finds out the dimensions of how long the shirt actually is, and like he'll like be like, "Yo, this is actually exactly what it looks like," and I'm just like, I don't have the time to do that.
Yeah. Basically, what we did a long time ago is we just took like some of your most popular shirts, like a Gildan or a Bella or whatever, and took like a size medium or large, and then actually measured it, from collar to seam, and then we made just like took a picture of it afterwards and put it on Photoshop, and then figured out like, okay, from this seam to this seam, it was this many inches, and then we made like a grid on Photoshop of like, this is the inches. And then
that's fucking rad. You made a template.
Yeah. So we just made a template that's actually to scale. So then we just basically, when we make the mock-up, we would snap it to that grid of like, okay, it's 4 inches wide. And then we would make it in 4 actual squares. Wow. And then that would be done. But now, like doing it for so long, like we still have that model that we can use, but now it's just.
You kind of can eyeball it.
Yeah. The mock-up form enough. It works really well. And if somebody's super particular, we'll still use that. But for the general customer or for the general salesperson, as long as they get trained enough and get used to making it on there, they tend to start to realize like, that looks like a 10-inch wide print, or, that's, 13-inch wide print.
Do you Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's it. So they just basically get so used to doing it every day that they don't need the grids anymore.
Do y'all both have sales associates?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that?
I mean, you kind of have to at a point.
Yeah. Do you guys just have them like handle certain customers? Do you have them go hunt for customers, or?
Andy, all of ours are, for us, it's all inbound stuff. We don't do any active sales. We do marketing, and so I guess there's that. Sometimes we reach out to people, but not often. We probably need to do a little bit more of that right now after this whole because COVID.
Yeah.
But normally we have customer service reps, that take incoming calls, or somebody at the front counter that walks in, or email. So there's actually a girl that is a quote specialist. So all quotes that come in from online, it goes directly to her, and she takes that. A lot of times those people aren't going to come to our shop. We're going to be shipping to them or something.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, and so they're very familiar though with the process because it's complicated. You have to. Somebody's going to want T-shirts and hoodies.
Yeah.
And so you have to, be aware that the print might not fit on a hoodie. So that's an issue. But yeah, we have. It's weird. It's so awesome to listen to Dylan talk about, and talk about how you onboard, and actually how you do proofs. Because it's so different for us. Like, I can't believe our customer service reps would never. I think maybe they could eventually learn how to proof something up, but man, we go through the whole process of back and forth creating art for somebody. Let's say they don't already have art, and you're creating art for them, and that's the final proof. Eventually, they say, "Yeah, I approve that." At the very end, and they're doing that with the designer, not with the customer service rep.
Yeah,
or not the salesperson or anything. So, but if we did do something like that, then that's why I asked, like, oh, so are your CSRs, do they have design background? Because how would they go about designing something?
So we've talked about this before though, with like me using Freelancers for design is basically, say we get a customer that owns a barbecue place, like, something you would do or whatever. And they're like, I don't have a logo. This is what I want though. So say Sarah, one of our salespeople or whatever, she'll take that information and she'll know, okay, this guy's really good at this. Like one of our freelancers is good at what you're describing. So she'll just send
from like Fiverr and stuff.
No, not from Fiverr. I don't really go that route. I'm more just like, we've been doing it for so long that there's definitely people I find on like Instagram or whatever that like,
for sure,
I see their style and I basically get a relationship going with them that a lot of times what I'll end up doing is I'll just buy something myself. Like I'll go to that designer that I like. I'll look through their portfolio. It's not like quick either. It's not like I go on one day and I looked at everything and I'm like, oh, let's work together.
I just did that. I just bought like 3 designs that I thought looked pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'll just go to them and I'll be like, hey, I like your work. Can you do like some upstate stuff? And I'll pay their fee. You know, it might be like $600-700 or whatever. Do their fee, work with them, see how it is to work with them. And then I'll be like, hey, I actually have this customer that would work great for your style. Whatever. So anyway, I have like 5 or 6 people that I like to use a lot, like every single day.
That's cool.
So Sarah will take that info from that customer and she'll just email that designer and be like, hey, this is what this customer is looking for. And then usually within like 1 to 2 days, I'll get an email back with like a proof.
That's what I was going to ask, because how quick is that turnaround? So
yeah, I try to generally tell them if they're going to be like on a regular, rotation of who gets what for design wise, like you need to be faster at getting us approved. And 9 times out of 10, the stuff is like, it's not like crazy complicated illustrations. It's like I said, it's a barbecue place.
How much
they might have to draw.
Like typically, what is that?
I gotta get a barbecue place, dude. Y'all are making me hungry. Y'all both have barbecue places.
A vegan barbecue place.
It's usually it's a couple $100.
I'm not vegan, dude.
Okay.
My girlfriend's vegetarian, and she likes going to vegan places, so I just go in there and the people are pretty rad. So
yeah,
I try to sell shirts to everybody.
I totally would have taken from the end of this that you were a vegan.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm glad I clarified. I had chicken nuggets last night.
Yeah, it's the most non-vegan thing you can have.
Hey, it is what it is, man. Like I don't want to kill animals, but I mean, every once in a while, like I'll eat something. Like I just told you I bought a skirt steak.
It would have been better at the end of that if you're like, every once in a while, I just kill animals.
Every once in a while, I'll go hunting.
And I'll leave it there.
Just leave it there, and then make that the preview for the podcast and then target my customers.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But how much does that cost? So you send out a design. Yeah, you send out a design and they send something back. Let's say it's a 4-color.
Usually, honestly, if it's like I said, if it's something super easy where it's like a construction company and they're like, I want 2 hammers crossed with my name on it, and it's something super simple that a designer can honestly put together. I know everybody says this, like you can put together in 10 minutes. Well, like if it really is something they can do in like a half hour or whatever, they usually charge like $50.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's like, hey, I want you to illustrate this or whatever, it's a couple $100. It might be like $200, $300.
Do you have in your expenses, I don't know if you have an accountant or what you do with your financials, but do you
I just like do like DuckTales where I have a room full of gold coins and every morning I leap off and I dive in them.
Is that part of Perfect First? I didn't read that part.
Yeah. It's like you open 95 bank accounts and then you have a room full of coins that you jump in.
But really you have, so can you look and see, okay, I spent this much on graphic design
freelance,
on freelance, so because that versus having an in-house full-time designer or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever.
It's definitely cheaper.
Cost more.
It's definitely cheaper because the cost goes, I don't pay that cost at all.
Especially if you use currency fluctuations.
Yeah. I don't pay that fee at all. So like the designer might be like, okay, this design's $60. I go to the customer. I'm like, hey, he said it's going to cost $75.
You don't just put it in
life.
So I might make $15.
Right, but you don't just, I'm
trying to make more than 15.
I've already quoted out that job. So like, let's say you have a job for 100 shirts. We've already threw them a quote and they say, okay, go. And we just build in that cost to the quote.
So no, in the beginning of the conversation on the email, and they're like, hey, I want this many shirts, but I also don't have a design. Okay. The very first thing we do is don't worry about the shirts yet. Like we need to do the design first. Like the first thing before I can quote you, before I can do anything, is we need to figure out what your design is. So the very first thing, because I don't know, the designer might be like, this design looks way better as a 4-color, and I quoted the customer as a 2-color. I don't want to go that route. So the very first step is, all right, let me, within a day or 2, you're going to hear back from us with a sketch of what you wanted for a design.
You get a deposit for that though?
Sometimes we get paid up front. Usually I get paid up front for the design. So like It depends on how complex it is. Like if it's going to be a $50 design, I usually just won't worry about it because they'll end up paying it later. But if it's
If you
something
know
that's
this customer,
like if it's something that's going to be like a couple $100, I'll be like, okay, the designer says he can have a sketch for you. So they'll give them just like a quick sketch of like, this is roughly what it's going to look like. And they're like, cool, I like that. Let's go with that. Then they'll pay the full fee. And then once the designer finishes it up in like another day, then I'm like, okay, here's the final design. They're like, awesome, it looks great. Then we'll do the shirt order. We'll be like, okay, like let's do the whole order. Yeah, and then when the invoice, it's like, here's all the line items of like small, medium, large, extra large, whatever shirts. Then it's screen fees if there is any. And then one design, like the line is design, and it's like, okay, it costs $250. It costs $250. And then
I don't do screen fees anymore. I just give it like I put the design fees and everything in there, and I look at the number, and if it looks good, I'm like, this is the final cost. Just
everybody does it different.
Corners.
Yeah.
I just learned people try to cut corners.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what if we get rid of this one and we do this? Mm-hmm.
But long story short, with the designers, it just, like I said, if anything, I make money on it, and we get really cool art for all the prints because we're picking specific people all over the U.S. that do really awesome work. So
I'm just starting to find that, like, because I have Vulgar, and like I don't have time to sit down and design stuff. So I just started finding designers on Instagram and Fiverr, and I just have them do my designs, and then I just print them.
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of like having my own design staff. It's just I don't pay them until they do some work.
They're contractors.
Right. They're freelancers, but it's not like every time I need to do a design, I have to go find a freelancer. I just have like people that I made relationships with that I'm like, here's work. And then they come right back. I pay
them. Same credit card?
Yes.
You say what?
Card?
And then I make that money back.
He pays them with that same card.
Man, he's on it.
Yep.
Dude, everything is paid for that card.
That's what I really need to do. I mean, I split my stuff up pretty decently. Like I have a tax account, and then I have a profit account where I don't touch anything. Then I have owner's compensation, and then my personal stuff, and then I have an income and an operating expense account.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all within the same account. It's just like every time I get anything in, I take 70% and I put that in operating expense, and then I put 10% into the tax, profit, and then owner compensation.
Yeah.
So it stacks up.
Yeah, I just let it all sit there. Like I said, after every day, it's just if I don't use it, it sits there, and then the next day it just sits there and
stacks up.
Then I just end up with a room full of gold coins, and I go, woohoo!
Look at that! And then you're like, oh wait, I got to spend all this.
Yeah, and then I end up buying a piece of equipment just to piss Andy off.
You guys have nice equipment. What kind of equipment do you have?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
So I have a particular piece of equipment, which is an auto reclaim machine that's way better than the one Dylan's considering. I personally know how to run it because I guess there's a finishing part at the end, but I have the M&R modular, and
how much does one of those cost?
It's badass. A lot, but.
Yeah.
How much does but hold on. So how much does paying two people standing there all day cleaning screens cost?
That's the thing, is that it's a loaded question because a lot of people always ask that. They're like, well, how much does that equipment cost? Oh, I can never buy that, whatever. It's like even you where you're at right now, like say you're a manual printer and you're starting to do automatic, you're looking at everything of like, oh man, that's going to cost so much money. But you're also at the point too, like you said, is where like, oh, I'd love to hire somebody to do this, or I'd love to hire somebody to print. It's like you look at the cost of what it's going to cost to pay that person, and then insurance and everything else. It's like you could also look at the same piece of equipment that could automate that's going to save you that much more time. Like in Andy's case, he buys the Ecotex. He doesn't have to hire one or two more people to clean screens manually all day. He has one guy who runs that machine, and then the machine pays for itself because he doesn't have to hire more people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you could buy a piece of equipment that's like $100,000, but you got to think that's paid off in like 2 years worth of somebody's salary.
That's why I bought an auto, because I was like, they're just manual printing takes a long time.
Also, that spot in reclaim cleaning screens is tough to keep somebody for more than 3 to 6 months in that role, because it's a nasty job.
Nobody wants to do it.
Nobody really wants to do that for a long time. And so, it's just one of those where to automate, I can't believe we didn't do it sooner. Really, it was a space thing. That's why we didn't do it sooner. But yeah, it was a great move.
How many other automated machines do you have?
So we have an autocoder and an eco rinse. I mean, that room is, every machine by itself in that screen room is good and is nice, but when they're all together, it's a system, and so it's just exponentially better, because the auto screen coner makes your iMage work better, which makes your eco rinse recipe work consistently, which then also makes your the reclaim work consistently, because everything is always the same. It's very repeatable.
Basically, you're trying to get rid of as much human error as possible. It's not like when you automate, you automatically people think that, oh, you're getting rid of employees or whatever. It's like you're making the quality of life for that employee better.
Exactly. And you're giving them an opportunity to learn.
It's not that you're getting rid of people. It's just that you're giving the people that you have more opportunity to do other things in the shop to save you more time and more money and everything. So,
like, I told Emmett, I was like, yo, once we get this auto running, if you don't have shirts to print, hop on the phone with me. We're going to start fucking calling people.
But you got to think, if you had a guy just cleaning screens all day long, like say that's all he was doing was cleaning screens. He hated his life. He was wet all the time. He's just cleaning screens sucks. So you buy an auto reclaim and he gets to do everything he was doing before in a quarter of the time. Now he's got 3/4 of that time to help pull shirts off press or, stack things at the end of the dryer or whatever.
He can learn new stuff about being in the print shop.
So you can use him for other things.
Like, what other things do you know that he has, like, in his head, Some people are smart, dude.
Yeah, you can teach people different things.
Yeah, and then, like, the things that they even know, they can teach you a bunch of stuff.
Right, well, that's the thing, too, is you might find out that guy's actually better suited on press than he is cleaning screens. Like, you won't know until you try. And then you hire somebody else to clean screens, and then you do the whole process over.
That happens all the time here. Somebody is in a role, maybe it's at the dryer, or maybe it's even maybe it's at shipping and receiving, and they're like, oh, I dig embroidery. And so, they go up there for a week to make sure that they really like it. And
then you find out they're awesome.
Yeah, and then they move up there. So,
yeah.
How many employees do you guys have?
Dylan?
I have 7.
Dylan. You have 7? Mm-hmm. What about you, Andy?
We're at 17 with 1 on maternity right now that are fully back at this point. So we'll see. We used to be a little larger than that, but I really like this number right here. I don't know that we can be much busier though and still keep up, but I don't know. It's a weird reset that was like a forced reset that happened.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy to kind of come back online with how we used to be and start to build with just with the team they have in place and try to add people back. It's so weird, really weird year.
I can only imagine. I mean, like, I'm in, like, we'll be 2 years in July, so we're in, like, a position where we're still, like, building our systems and building our team and stuff. So I can only imagine having that stuff in place. And
I love those times though, growing from 2 people to 20 whatever. It was so fun, Yeah,
I know. I'm having a blast, dude. Like, just like, even the people that work with me, I don't like say they work for me. I just say they work with me. And like, Moose will come over and he'll just be like, dude, I fucking love working here. Like, this is crazy. I'll be like, did you just want to go, smoke a joint or something? Like, yeah, let's do it, dude. It's just like, you can actually build a cool culture of people who actually want to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
It's like, I give them 3-day weekends, and like, we do 4 days on, 3 days off, just because I think it's, like, really important for their mental strength,
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, you had a Printavo question, and I think I know some people that you use Printavo.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a couple guys that can help you with that. So I'm going to.
For real?
Yeah. And also, Printavo is supposed to be, I hear there's going to be an update coming that is pretty cool, that as far as scheduling goes, because right now we built this whole, you asked what we used earlier, and we use Monday, and we built this whole Monday platform, but it sounds like anyway, Printavo is going to look kind of similar. So
that's I started looking at Monday, and then I went to ThreadX because somebody from Printavo was like, they shot me an email and they're like, yo, check your inbox. And I checked my inbox and they gave me a ticket to ThreadX. I just had to buy my flight. Yeah. And so, like, I got out there and I was just like, damn, dude, this industry is actually pretty fucking sick. Like, these people are actually pretty cool. And these people, like, I was skating when Jake, or is it Jack from Jack Prince?
Okay.
No, I think his name's Jacob. And we were just skating. He was wasted, but we were just doing tray flips and stuff, and everybody was just having a blast. It was such a good time. So
Yeah, the conventions or the shows, man, it is. It's or like Print Hustlers too.
yeah.
Just hanging out with other people from the industry and then the after parties and everything. Definitely. Totally
Did you go climb Camelback out in Arizona?
Almost. We went up to.
This just Saddle.
No, we didn't have time because we drove up to. What's that city to the north?
Sedona.
Sedona. Yeah.
Yeah.
There and spent 3 days and hiked like 4 vortexes, and so I really found
That's
myself.
fun, though.
Yeah.
I went to Denver and I started climbing like mountains, and then I just saw like there was a random mountain right in Arizona. Dude, I went literally every day after the convention. I skated like a mile to get there, and then I would climb. And then like the next day, I had some random dudes with me from the city. They were just like, "Let's go to the mountain." And they're like, "Whatever." And dude, they couldn't even make it halfway up. They were like, just like these dudes I met that worked in the kitchen. They couldn't make it halfway up. And finally, the third day, I made it to the top, and I was just like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, we
Mountains.
lucked out that time of year anyways. Good weather. Now it's like 110 or whatever.
Dude, Arizona is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I'd never been before. I loved it. Definitely going back.
When you climb the mountain, you just look out and see the valley and like all the red and the green and stuff. It's like, Dylan, where are you from?
Upstate New York.
Oh, upstate New York. New York is sick too. You guys just went through a crazy time though.
Yeah,
not his part of New York.
Not for me, no.
Really?
Basically, New York City and New York are like 2 different places. Like New York City is like everybody who thinks New York automatically thinks the whole state is like the city. But upstate New York is like hills and trees and like it's like the Adirondacks, and we got Great Lakes and Niagara Falls, and it's a lot of like hills and stuff like that. It's
That's kind of rad.
more trees than anything. It's not as crazy as the
So
city.
you guys didn't have to like shut down or anything?
No.
How crazy is that, dude?
Yeah.
What is y'all's take on the whole COVID thing?
I don't even want to know if I want to go down that rabbit hole.
I got pretty deep into conspiracies for a bit, dude.
I honestly just like get entertainment out of the conspiracy stuff. So I like to look into that more than anything else. But
For sure.
dude,
What do you
it's
think the
crazy.
aliens are coming?
Dude, exactly. That's exactly what I thought it said. Dude, aliens are next. 100%. I still care about other people and I still care about the issues and stuff. So it's like, I'll do what I can to
How's that mask on your beard?
Dude, it's so hot.
Sounds like an inconvenience.
Yeah, it sucks, but
I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't social distance because I'll be honest, I'm kind of like I hang out with people, but I don't hang out with people. I'd much rather be in my head and like in my business. And so like, I'm always just at home anyway.
yeah.
So I don't go out and drink and party and go to bars and stuff. I don't have time for that.
The people I hang out with anyway are the people I'm at work with all day. So
That's what it's supposed to be like.
it's not really any different for me. I know.
Real tribe shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler, it's been good talking to you.
Yeah, Andy. Dylan, thanks for it.
Yeah, dude.
I'll
If I have any
definitely.
questions about stuff, I'm going to definitely reach out to you guys because
Yeah, for sure.
I
Anytime.
have so many questions come up where I'm just like, I don't even know how to Google this. You know?
Yeah. We don't have all the answers, but if we know, we'll tell you.
I got all the
I
answers.
appreciate it.
Andy knows.
He's got a fucking coder.
Andy
He's got a
knows.
coder.
Dude, I have a coder too. What the fuck?
I thought you were buying a new one.
No. I have
Oh,
the same shop. I have the same shop as Andy.
For real?
Basically.
Who started first? Which one of you started first?
We were
Uh-huh.
09, so
We were
when
both
you?
2009.
Yeah, see? So same shop.
That's weird. That's like a demographic thing. I guarantee you that the Facebook algorithm started targeting like the same things to you guys, and that's why your shop kind of came out similar.
Yeah, that's it.
That's weird.
Probably.
Wait on that. He's worried.
All right, guys. Well,
All right, guys. We get out of here.
See you, dude.
Y'all have a good day. Be safe.
Yeah,
all right?
dude.
you too.